you'll be doing. You'll be collecting. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Please, if you can't hear me, let me. I'm having a bad head day with my computer. Please let me know if you can't hear me. Okay, so like Betty mentioned earlier, collecting and cleaning data is one of the main tasks that you'll be doing during your internship. Why? Because it has to be second nature to you. Because even if you're just doing Excel, let's say you don't come to datainternship.com, let's say you don't know anything about data, but you are a basic Excel analyst, you must collect data. One of the limitations of Excel is the inability to get, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, we can hear you, go ahead.
Okay, great. I heard someone asking a question. One of the limitations of Excel is the inability for people to get external data. And that is why, you know, we're going to take you further than Excel. But then we need to state now that one of the major skills you will need to have is how to do ETLs, extract, transform, and load. If you look at job postings for data analysts online, you'll notice that one of the key skills, you'll notice 9 out of 10 jobs for data analysts, they're asking you, can you do ETL? Can you extract data? Can you transform data? And can you load data? So you're going to be doing that on a regular during your internships. You're also going to be creating dashboards and visualizations frequently. With each data we give to you, you're creating dashboards with it. You are showing us what you have extracted from the data, the information you have extracted. In many cases, you might work as a team or you might work on your own to do presentations. Now, we're not, all the tasks you do as an intern are optional. But let me tell you one thing, if you can go through the training and internship thoroughly, you will stand out from the rest of your peers. Anybody else who is going in to look for a job as a data analyst will not measure up to you, because instead of just saying that you're new to the industry, you can actually show what you have done because of the tasks that you would have done. Frank mentioned that just harnessing data, extracting data, and creating actionable insights is not sufficient. You have to have communication skills. This is why presentations is going to be key. Presenting data doesn't always mean creating visuals of the data. Sometimes you will need to verbally describe and explain the data, just like I am doing right now. And you have to make sense to the people, to management, to whoever you're presenting your data to. That is one of the things that will help you achieve. Also, for those who will be going further to study as SQL analysts and data engineers and scientists, we would work with you on statistical modeling, on machine learning, artificial intelligence, and forecasting. It is not going to be an easy journey. It is not going to be easy at all, but with persistence, you'll be able to do it. Most data engineers, people believe that most data engineers work on servers just because of the word engineer. But yes, it is a key part of the work as a data engineer. But then creating models, doing predictive analysis, regression analysis, and that sort of thing, that's all part of it. Creating a pipeline of data from, let's say, a database to a server, these are all parts of it. And these are things that will teach you towards the later part of your internship for the data engineer role. Also, when you sign up, we are going to put people in teams. I think I have to explain this part to you. Everyone here is here for a reason. I asked what job roles you all do. I didn't ask you what part of the country, what part of Nigeria you are, or what part of the world you are. But I know because I registered a few people on. I know some people are in the UK, some people are in Europe, France, some people are in the US. So I know that it'll be better if we put people in cross-functional teams. For example, if you are based in the US, ideally we want to put you in a team of other analysts based in the US. You guys can learn from each other. You guys can do your presentations together. You guys can, if we're doing an analysis and we need you to do it as a team, you can work together. And the data set that you work with ideally should reflect the environment and where you are. For instance, one of the data sets we're going to work on is Netflix data set. I'm sure if you're already in industry, you know that Netflix makes their data set open source, so you can access the data and you can harness insights from it. I don't think it will be useful for the Nigerian team to work on Netflix data set. The Nigerian teams can work on WHO data sets, that sort of thing. So that's why we're going to put you in groups so that you can work in teams with people who live around you and have the same purpose as you. For instance, another example, if you are interested in looking for remote jobs, you really don't want to work in a team with somebody who is just upskilling, who already has a job. You want to work in a team with other people looking for remote jobs. That way you guys can learn from each other, share information that will help you get hired faster. Is there any questions so far? I hope I'm not going too fast. Let me look at, kindly drop recording network. Okay. Okay, the recording is not allowing you to listen. Shana, Frank, can you chat with that person? Saying
yeah,
that
I think she's saying that she missed a bit because of her network and is opening a recording. But yeah,
okay.
But the network problem we had made us miss some of the recording. But
okay, so sorry about that. I'm gonna try and make it faster. Like I said before, it's going to be a task-based internship. We're repeating ourselves, but we need to stress it. It's not going to be a full-time job. It's an unpaid internship. You're basically going to get training. After that, you're going to get tasks, which you'll deliver. Now, once you've completed a task successfully, you can put it on your CV. So if that task was done for KPMG, for example, you would have on your CV, data internship, internship, and then you have a task so and so and so done, maybe achieve 30% ROI for KPMG, that sort of thing. That's how you're going to slot it. Betty is our consultant for human resources. During her bonus week, she's going to take you guys through crafting your CV and making sure everything you have learned goes on your CV correctly. Okay, I already mentioned GitHub and Kaggle, but I just needed to stress it a little bit more. I'll give you an example. When I started out in the industry, I started out as a developer, a Python developer. I had no mentor, I had no guide. I did a lot of work. I mean, those people who know me know I did lots of work, free work, paid work. I did a whole lot of work. And I never got it on GitHub because I never thought it was important at the time. Networking wasn't a key requirement, at that time. I just worked, delivered my work. But when I started to see employers ask about GitHub and ask me about my GitHub, I mean, about 2016 or so, I started trying to fill it up with work that was past. For example, I was putting on work for Laravel in 2016. And I had some people asking me, why are you putting on Laravel in your GitHub? Laravel is so ancient, nobody uses it anymore. But this was me not knowing that at the time when I was working with Laravel, I should have gotten it on my GitHub, because employers would have seen my progress from PHP to Python to Laravel to Django, etc. But instead, I was bunching everything up and putting it on like 6 years after I had been in the industry. If someone had, mentored me or provided any kind of guide, I would have known that it's not just putting on all the work at once that mattered, but the progress from this to that matters. That is why GitHub is not an optional, choice for this internship. Just like your LinkedIn is not optional. Everyone has to get set up on GitHub. And as we work, as you do your tasks, we're going to push it to GitHub. You're going to be taught how to create GitHub, how to push your code to GitHub and all that, and how to, follow some other codes on GitHub. Now, Kaggle is optional. Kaggle is for, like I said, those who want to progress further. Kaggle is a great place, and I'll show you a bit of it later, but in the next slides, I'll just show you a sample of a GitHub profile for someone who is a data analyst. Okay, here it is. His name is Alex. On his GitHub profile, he gives a brief section that talks about himself and what he does. And then he puts in links to his CV, his Medium. You don't have to have a blog. You can put in links to your LinkedIn and your CV, etc. He talks about himself briefly, not too much, not too much story, if you notice. And then he breaks down in his table of contents, his methodology. And then he goes further. If you click on each one, it's hyperlinked. It takes you to the project. This is a data cleaning job he did. Very basic. It's amongst the first things you would do when you start to do your postings on GitHub. Any data you clean, and if we're impressed with it, if you are impressed with it, we'll push it to your GitHub. Also, he also goes further to show his dashboards. This was a Power BI dashboard he did. And then the next one is a Tableau dashboard that he did. Great. Now, what this does is that it helps employers, just like Betty told you, know that you can actually do the job. It's not all talk, really, when it comes to data analytics and data science. When it comes to tech, generally, it's not all talk. You can't just say, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm great at this, and I'm great at that. You actually have to show employers that you can do the work. And the way to show them is GitHub, as well as your LinkedIn and your CV, of course. And then also Kaggle. I particularly love Kaggle, but not everyone, it's not for everyone. Kaggle gets complicated for newcomers. On Kaggle, they have all kinds of data sets. It's a playground. I don't know if anyone here has heard of Jupyter Notebook. Has anybody here heard of Jupyter Notebook?
Yeah, I've heard of Jupyter.
Oh, great, great. Kaggle is generally Jupyter Notebook in the cloud, if you think about it. It's a place to play. I love Kaggle. For me, I'd rather be on Kaggle than on Facebook, but then I'm a geek. But then Kaggle is the place. I go there, I see what everyone else is doing. Sometimes you might be lost on Kaggle, but get into a community, pick something you love. The first thing I picked was Titanic. I picked Titanic, and I'm sure that's the first thing most people pick on Titanic, on Kaggle. Titanic data set is like the hello world for coders.
Yeah, Cassy, that's the data set that tries to predict who would die on the boat, right?
Yes, that's the one. It's interesting. It's like telling a story while at the same time being an analyst. The Titanic data set, it has all kinds of information. You can predict whether the people on the lower deck die more or the people, and because it's real life, it actually has a wealth of information. When you start to play with this data set on the Jupyter Notebook on Kaggle, you'll see what I mean. But like I said, Kaggle is optional for everybody. We're going to ask people who want to register on Kaggle to register. I will personally work with you on Kaggle just because it's one of my favorite social media places to be. You can compete on Kaggle as well. I've never won a competition on Kaggle, never really tried, but I always encourage students to give it a go. Give it a go if you can give it a go. If you have the time to, there's a lot of great prizes there. When I mean great prize, I'm talking 100K, 20K kind of prizes, not in Naira, in dollars. And there are people winning it every day. People who are committed to winning it are winning it. You can take short courses. And of course, there's mountains of inspiring codes, mountains of inspiring data to play with. Also, just wanted to show you a Jupyter notebook I'm working on Kaggle. This one is for an e-commerce website. As you can see from the code, I don't want to, let me not make it too tech, but you can see that there are models. I'm importing models into my Kaggle. NumPy, if you know much about, if you know a little about data analysis, you know that that's a key model that you work with when you're doing mathematical calculations in data. That's just an example. This is a private repo. You can create your repos and make them private on Kaggle.
Sorry, Cassy, that's for those who are going into Python, right?
Yes, no, those who are going further than Power BI and Tableau.
Tableau, okay. Right.
But you can also join, you don't have to restrict yourself and say, oh, I'm doing just Power BI, I don't want to go further. Yes, you can focus on Power BI, but you can also be a watcher. I call it a watcher. You can get on Kaggle and just watch things happen and you will be inspired, I tell you. So the job hunt. Let's get into the job hunt. It's going to be a brief one. I can see I'm almost running out of time. So I'm going to just leave this video. I'm not going to play this video. It's on our YouTube channel if you want to see it. The video talks about our bonus week. This is the week where Betty shows her thing. Betty is a human resource recruitment specialist living in Paris. She has a wealth of experience with remote work, hiring people in tech and IT. So she's going to work with you on the bonus week to ensure that you all get the access to the right tools and get direction, the direction you need to landing the job that you're looking for. Like I said, everybody has a different reason for being here. So I'm not going to generally say you're looking for a job, but she's going to help you achieve what you're looking for. If you're looking to upskill and you want to go to your employers and ask for a raise, talk to Betty about that. She'll tell you how to do that. On the bonus week, you're going to do mock interviews, mock assessments, all that stuff to get you ready for the real jobs. Take it from me, guys. If you've never done a data analyst interview before or any tech kind of interview, it is tough. It is one thing to learn it. It's another thing to actually do the interview. And that is why we take our time to prepare you for the day that you go before a prospective employer to do your assessment or your interview. So one of the things, of course, that we're going to work with you is your CV. We'll make sure it's well crafted. I recently found out, believe me, I don't know everything. I recently found out from Miss Betty that because softwares and AIs go through our CVs and pick out the best candidates, we have to focus on keywords, we have to focus on OCR readable text, and a lot more. So there's a lot to learn, guys, and she's going to be here to help you with that when the time comes. The only thing that we are going to help you before that time get ready for is your GitHub, your Kaggle, that sort of thing. When the time comes for you to do your job hunt, she's going to make sure that your LinkedIn is pimped up. When I mean pimped up, I'm not talking about lies. I'm talking about actual work that you've done, actual tasks that you've done, your CV, and all of that. Python intro will be on Sunday. Okay, I can see somebody is asking. So your LinkedIn and your CV are going to be pimped up, yes, to get you ready to hit the job market. Okay, hold on. Okay, I have a recommendation, and I know some people might not like my 2 recommendations, but these two websites that I'm about to show you, that we have a lot more to recommend, a lot more. I just didn't have enough space to put them all in here. TripleByte, if you become an SQL analyst after 16 weeks, I think that's our timeline for SQL, you can go on TripleByte, do an assessment, get a score, and within 4 weeks, you'll get a job on TripleByte, because on TripleByte, employers come there, they look at your scores, and they make you an offer and you get hired. Another website that I love to bits is Turing, that's what we call it with our Nigerian accent, Turing.com. Turing has some really tough tests. Has anybody heard of Turing? I'm sure some people here have heard of Turing.com. Some of the techie people here, you heard of Turing?
Okay, yes, I've heard of Turing.
You have, yes? And you know that they pay very well. I'm sure you've heard that they pay very well.
Yes, I've heard.
Yes, they have. They pay. As far as I'm concerned, Turing.com should be the aim of most of data analysts here who are in Nigeria and looking for remote work. After going through a whole lot of remote work offers, Turing is one website that can tell you, hire you as a Nigerian without stressing you. They won't start telling you, go and get an EIN number, go and get a social security, go and get a national insurance number like they do here. No, they won't tell you to do any of that. They know you're Nigerian. As long as you can pass their tests, they will give you an offer. And the minimum you can earn in Turing, if you're just working calmly and coolly, is about $2,000. Convert that to Nigerian Naira, you know what I mean. So Turing is another option to look at once you've certified and you want to start looking for work. You can go there, do their tests and get hired. And don't feel daunted if you don't get it right the first time. The tests are pretty tough and competitive. So, so guys, those two websites are just, you know, samples. Now, I really want you guys to watch this video just briefly, right? The video is from a data analyst called Stefan. Choosing your specialty from the start. I recommend, that is what this whole session is about. Choosing your specialty, knowing what you want to go for. And this guy puts it nicely, the way I would put it. I don't agree with everything he said, but I would like you to watch it and see what I mean. Hold on, please. We're looking for the play button. Please hold on. I'm just trying to get this up. Okay, hold on.
I think you needed to be made host for that to come up. Sorry about that.
Hello. Okay, so we're going to skip the video, unfortunately, since it's not coming up. What I'd like to just say before before we go back, I'm going to summarize the video. So this is an analyst who has had massive experience in the industry, and he tried to clarify the things that you should know as an analyst first, because just like a lot of other analysts, he makes the same mistakes a lot of people make by learning so many tools and not the key ones that are important. Okay, please can you project it? Okay, great. All right. Can you hear me? Just wanted to be sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Hear me? Okay, great. Okay, so a lot of people talk about Excel. I mean, even before we started this presentation, someone called me and told me that she's interested in learning Excel. She's interested in learning Power BI and Tableau. And I try to explain to a lot of, especially new analysts, that Excel always will be a basic, important part of being an analyst, right? But then Excel has limitations. It doesn't allow you work with huge data sets. So, I mean, if you're a business manager, you work in a business setting or an office setting, Excel will do your work right. Of course, you don't really need anything much because you can do dashboards in Excel. But if you're going to go further, if you're going to work with larger data sets and you're going to add a bit of, vavavoom in your presentations to your managers, or you're going to have to give them better, deeper insights, you will need to learn a visualization tool. That is why I say, and I know a lot of data engineers agree with me, that Tableau, Power BI, and QuickView are the lowest hanging fruits for any data analysts. So the first thing you have to learn is Excel, of course, because it is, of course, the ABC of, data analysis. But then you don't have to limit yourself by being an Excel analyst. If you don't agree with me, go right now to Indeed or any other job website and search for Excel analysts and see how many people are looking for Excel analysts. You will find probably less than 10. But if you type Power BI analyst or Tableau analyst, you will see them in the hundreds because employers want more. My mother can use Excel. She learned how to use Excel when she was, over 40 years ago. She can use it. Excel is a tool that has been around for a long time. But of course, in recent times with new macros and new add-ons, it's become really awesome. However, it is a basic knowledge for every analyst. I would say, don't feel special that you know Excel. Please don't feel special. And people won't agree with me. Some analysts might punch me in the face for saying it. Don't feel special that you know advanced Excel. You should know advanced Excel. If you don't know advanced Excel, then please know, at least get to intermediate level. And then when you get to intermediate level, everything else falls into place while you learn other skills. Other skills like Tableau and Power BI. In that video that you didn't get to watch, the analyst talked about Tableau being the most popular tool. And a lot of people will also say that, but I don't agree with you. Tableau is relevant for those in North America. Power BI is relevant for those in Europe. You can, of course, Tableau is relevant for those in Europe as well and vice versa. What I'm just saying is there are more companies in Europe on the Azure network, on the Azure servers. And because they're on Azure, which is Microsoft server, they use Power BI for their analytics. That's just the only difference. It's just the preference, the servers the companies have chosen is what dictates the kind of visualization tools they use. But that shouldn't stop you from learning Tableau just because you're in Europe. And then because you're in North America, you should not limit yourself to only Tableau. You can learn Tableau and Power BI. You can also be, a rock star with Tableau if you choose to. My time is almost up. I'm just going to round up. So with Tableau, your Excel, we're going to take your Excel from beginner to intermediate level. We're going to take you on basic statistics, basic SQL, and intro to Python. Some people might say they don't need Python as Tableau analysts. And that is true. I agree with you. You don't really need Python. But guess what? With an intro to Python, there won't be any surprises where you work. You're not going to be thrown into the deep end when your boss requests for something that requires a basic Python syntax. You're not going to look at it with awe or look at it and think, oh my God, what is this? Because you know Python on an introductory level. We're going to take you to expert level Tableau as well. And of course, the Tableau, Power BI, and SQL, once the course starts, the first 6 weeks, they are going to be the same courses. They're all going to do basic statistics, Excel, basic SQL, intro to Python. Now we're going to take your Excel from basic to intermediate and to advanced. At the end of the day, you're going to come out being advanced, but you don't really need to get to advanced level to be a Power BI analyst. Intermediate level is sufficient. But I reckon everyone is going to end up being at an advanced level because of the assignments and the data that you have to work with and the training that you have to do. Like I said, Excel and visualization, data cleaning and all that, they're going to be second nature to what you do. As an SQL analyst though, there's a difference. We're going to take your Python to beginner level. You don't need to be an expert at Power BI or Tableau. Intermediate level is sufficient. Lastly, we have data science and data engineer. Okay. Now, the only difference between the two.
I have a question, please.
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, you mentioned that Power BI, like a visualization tool.
Yes.
But everything you can perform in Excel, you can do it in Power BI. Like Power BI is about 316 possibilities that you can perform inside. Then I always have some things when people say, yeah, like Power BI is a visualization tools. Meanwhile, you can transform, extract data, everything
Yes.
you can do it from your
Yes.
Power BI. Then I just want to, maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
You're not wrong at all. Power BI is called a visualization tool, right? But if you notice, I said Power BI analyst. That means you can do everything an analyst can do with Power BI. Tableau analyst, that means you can extract data. With Power BI, you can get data from external sources. You can get data from the Azure databases, from MongoDB, all them kind of data. Yes. Power BI, in fact, Power BI is very powerful with data, extracting data. I think it's one of the most powerful visualization tools. The reason you're calling yourself an analyst, a Power BI analyst, is not because you can do visuals. It's because you can do ETL, you can extract, transform, and load data. You can do a lot with Power BI, you can do models, you can do basic models. So yes, Power BI is powerful. And no, I don't compare Power BI to Excel. Excel is great. It's basic knowledge, like I said, like everybody should have that. Without that, the other concepts in Power BI, in SQL, they're going to be harder to understand if you don't get your Excel to intermediate level. That is why we get you to intermediate level first before taking you further. So thanks for that, Azimat. So just in case anyone else is not sure, you can do everything a data analyst can do with Power BI. The reason why Power BI and Tableau is what we recommend for the first 12 weeks for newcomers is because of, we don't want you to burn out. And I'll explain why. If you say to me right now, I'm a newcomer, I'm new to IT, and I want to become a data engineer, I'm going to send you to Power BI and Tableau. Excel first, Power BI and Tableau. Because if you come straight to SQL, or you come straight and I say, okay, I'm going to teach you Python, you're going to become a data engineer in 6 to 9 months, you might not make it. But you have a greater chance of being a Tableau or Power BI analyst first, and then deciding from there to continue. But at least you know you've bagged that certification and you've bagged that experience, and you can actually go into the job market and start to work while you upskill. You can upskill to SQL developer, upskill from there to a data scientist, get on to being a data engineer, upskill again to a machine learning engineer. There's so much. I know Frank showed you guys a sheet. There's so much you can achieve, but start with the lowest hanging fruits so that you don't lose steam, waste money in learning, and generally lose interest, because it is not an easy journey. So any other questions, please? Okay, next slide. If you have any questions, just ask. Asimat, I can see your hand is still up. You have another question?
Oh, no, it's okay for me.
Okay, so I'm rounded up, Frank, and don't panic, I'm done. I'm sorry for taking your time. It's because of the system issues. I just wanted to add that to become a data analyst or engineer or scientist, you just need to commit. With us, all you have to do is commit to 10 hours a week. And if you notice our time frame, it's in the evenings. It's in the evenings for those in Nigeria. It works well for those in Europe after work. And for those in the US, they can actually still join us for the training. Or in Canada, you can join us for the training. All you need to do is commit to 10 hours weekly. The trainings are going to be 2 hours and they're going to be recorded. So if by chance you miss any training, you can always get on it. But you must commit to it, because if you miss a training as happening on Wednesday, do your best to, go through the videos that have been recorded before Thursday so that you're ready for Thursday. Don't let it pile up. You have to commit to team building activities, because that is how you're going to grow as a team member. That's how you're going to grow. You're going to share knowledge. You're going to share your experiences. And then there's some concepts you might not understand very well and your team member understands well. It's easier for your team member to explain it to you than for you to come back to the tutor the week after and if you get my point. But we're all going to be working on Slack, so it'll be easy to communicate with tutors. Commit to submitting your assignments. I know that is ridiculous, sounds ridiculous, but it's important. I have seen students who pay for the classes and they never commit to it. They just let it go. They don't bother because it takes a lot of their time. I understand that it's going to be time consuming, but if you can just a bit of commitment, you'll be surprised by the results. Lastly, commit to getting our internship certification. It might mean nothing, but it shows that you follow through on this internship and you achieved something. The timelines are Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m., Thursday, 7 to 9. That's 2 hours during the week. On Saturdays, it's 3 hours, and we have 2 modules each on Saturdays and Sundays. Thank you all for attending this. I look forward to any questions you have, any information you'd like to share, and to tomorrow's training. Tomorrow's training is, I think, SQL. Frank, can you take over? Thank you. Thank you all.
Hello, everyone. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Cassy, for that. Thank you, Betty. So yes, so much I want to say. Tomorrow we're dealing with advanced Excel and SQL. All right. Let me chip in that if you notice that as you see advanced Excel, almost in all the job listings, you usually see they're not going to advance. They just say Microsoft, Office knowledge or Excel knowledge. They might not mention it, but you will use it. We all know Excel has become a major part of everyday work in the corporate world now. Anyway, so SQL is also one, at least basic knowledge of SQL is one knowledge that comes up quite often. Sometimes you might never end up using it inside the job, but they usually just list it, and it's not, SQL is not a full-fledged language like Python. It will be a lot easier to learn. Now, like I said, tomorrow we're doing Excel and SQL. This training is free. This one, Sunday, is free. All right. So tomorrow, make sure you come with your laptop, right? Make sure you come with your laptop. I'll send you the message necessary for the SQL software you will download. And also, if you don't have Office, we might need to look at that. There are some free Office alternatives. I don't know if they work exactly like Microsoft Office, for Excel and all that, but there's Google Sheets and then there's that. Anyway, also inform people that you've got a taste of what it is and what it will be. This first session didn't even go so much into the actual intro to the courses, right? So the real value, the real meat is tomorrow and Sunday when we go into those courses and you take away skills that are applicable to your career growth. So let people know, and let's meet tomorrow. It's 7. I like opening the room like an hour before the time. It just allows people to meet, network, and get to connect a bit before we start. So I want to thank you all for coming. I don't know if there's any questions before we round up. We are 17 minutes over our time, and I'm so sorry for that. Please, I respect your time. So forgive us for going 17 minutes over the time. Are there any questions? All right, fine. So that's it. Thank you for coming. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll take a record of everybody that came today, and we'll follow up. Like I said, make sure you're in the group and make sure you're registered on the form. So we'll send you the links for the software you need to download and all of that. Tomorrow will be recorded. Sunday will be recorded. It will be shared with you. I apologize. The network caused us to not record this meeting completely, but I'll do something about that before I send you the recording, at least my section, to record it again to send to you. And the part we got from the HR professionals here will send to you as well. Thank you so much. So everyone, have a lovely night. See you tomorrow. Thank you.